Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Conversation with Freedom. Today, I have a very special guest. She's someone who I look up to, and I've had the opportunity to share a stage with her. She's so amazing, and I'm telling you, after this episode, you're gonna get inspired. Her story is so inspiring. I call her my mom. She's so, she's someone who, man, she's one of the kindest soul that I ever met. Mani Thelma Ngobeni. Welcome to my podcast.
Thank you so much, Freedom. I'm very excited to be doing this with. I feel really honored.
You're welcome. For those people who don't know who Thelma Ngobeni is, please tell them a little bit about yourself and the work that you're doing.
Okay. Just to sum it up, I'm a seasoned radio personality, a former TV presenter, someone who likes to got a business that sells food. I'm also a minister of the Word of God. I'm a lady who was born and bred Akachaba with Limpopo. Chabani is bordering Ilim in Loitrichat area. So that's where I was born and bred. I grew up between Chabani and Guyani because my parents were working in Guyani and I was living with my grandparents, Kachabani, and my siblings. So generally, I'm a village girl who came to the city to make it big, to make it big. Yeah. So some of you may have had an opportunity to watch me on TV back in 2006, 2007, when I did a TV program called Zwahashu. Otherwise, I've been on radio almost all my waking life because I started radio in 1997 in a campus in a campus radio station while I was in varsity, and I joined the public broadcaster, which is SABC, under Mungana Lunene FM. Um, things within the station. I've read news, I've presented, I've produced. Yeah, yes, I've done current affairs. And currently, I'm connected to a government station named Ubuntu Radio. It's based within the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, South Africa. That's what I do. My campuses speaking to ambassadors who are representing their countries here in Africa and those who are representing South Africa abroad. I also do a lot of tourism events and interviews. Hence, my love for tourism. I travel a lot. I love traveling. I love exploring, getting to know new places, exploring adventurous activities. Yeah. So in that's who I am. And as I said, I'm the minister of the Word of God. I recently got married. I married also a pastor. So, so please do
Congratulations.
come to our church.
Okay.
Yeah.
Since you've been on radio for almost all your life, what kind of advice would you give to someone who wanna get into the industry?
Looking at the way things are, I normally advise people to do not go to school. I am going to study to work in radio.
Okay.
The reason I am advising people that is the radio industry is a small industry on its own. So the opportunities are scarce and the supply is too much. So there are many people who aspire to work on radio. Many opportunities are very small. So one thing that I had spoken to me about their ambition to work on radio before, I've always told them rather broaden up your horizon, meaning that rather go and study journalism or study media studies, communication science, at you may.
Hello. Okay.
So as a young person,
Yeah.
should I continue?
Yes, please.
As a young person, who aspire to be on radio, don't narrow your search or narrow your ambition. Just broaden the horizon. Another thing is we now have a lot of platforms
Yeah.
where people can showcase their talents. For example, this podcast. You can have your own channel where you have a podcast, you have people who are following you,
Yeah.
and those big organizations that you desire to follow may recognize you through this channel that is available to you freely. You just need data, you just need to create content and
Yeah.
make sure that you promote the page so that people can follow you. There are channels like TikTok. People are doing amazing things on TikTok. People are doing amazing things on YouTube, on Facebook. So let's utilize these channels that are available for us to showcase our talent.
That's great. That's so amazing. And talking about young people, what are your biggest worry about the youth of today?
I missed your question.
Talking about young people, what's your biggest worry about the youth of today?
My biggest worry is a lack of ambition.
Oh,
I've noted that the youth of today is going haywire. Like the freedom that they have in their hands is kind of being abused in a way. You know, I'm not necessarily saying that going to school is the only way can build themselves.
yeah.
One can have a goal and work towards it. But I'm worried because even those who are studying today, they
Hello? I think we have a connection problem. Yes, you can continue.
it's okay. So the youth stop wasting their lives, drinking their lives away, spending times in nightclubs and not doing anything tangible that is actually going to provide for their families tomorrow. If you have a kid today, you will be an older person tomorrow, and you'll be expected to provide for your kid. How are you going to provide if you have not built anything for yourself? If your parents are able to provide for you now, they may not live forever to be able to take care of you. Even if they leave something in your hands, you will not be able to the wealth that they have left for you if you are not skilled. So, as a young person, it's very important to skill up yourself and prepare yourself to be a future adult, a responsible one for that matter.
Yeah, that's true and that's great. What are some of the most important life lessons that you've learned that you would like to share with us?
One a life lesson that I learned is that do not ever allow the society to define you.
Hmm.
Um, I am saying this because uh, in my younger age,
Yeah,
I grew up with boys. I am the only girl at home. So I
okay.
grew up with boys. You know, when you spend a lot of time with goats, you end up behaving like goats, if I may put it like that.
Yeah.
So I had more of boy traits than a girl trait as a youngster. So you would have people saying or commenting that this one is more like a boy. Yeah, you ugly like a boy. And I
Oh,
believed that about myself. And later in life, things happened. I transformed. I discovered myself. I started loving girlish stuff like your makeup, hair, handbags, and stuff like that. And when I started applying those things and wearing those things,
yeah.
when I walk on the street, I'm stopped by people who say, "Are you a model by any chance?" I'm
Oh,
like, "No, you should try it. You know, you should try it. You have those traits of a model." I'm like, "No,
wow.
but I'm in my old age. I can't do that."
Yes.
So I realized that no, I allowed the community to define me. and box me in a certain class of people. Had I known that in the younger age, I would have done, maybe I would be an international
Wow.
runway star, you know.
Yeah.
So don't you ever allow people's comments of views about you to define you. Find yourself. Find yourself and do it as early as possible. You will go far in life. Another lesson that I can give to young people
Yeah.
today is don't put everything that you wish to do off and say you will do it tomorrow. Procrastination is a killer of dreams. If you want to do
Mhm.
something, start today. If you
Yeah.
want to do something, don't start big. Start small. Start with
Okay.
what you have. Start with what you have. You have a smart camera, you have a smartphone where you are. Start with that smartphone. Do something. Don't wait
Yes.
to have very expensive cameras to do your podcast. Don't
Mm.
wait to have very expensive laptops to edit the material that you are doing. Use what you start today. Very key.
Wow. That's so powerful. How do you
Thank you.
how do you define fashion? Because you have a love for fashion. How do you define fashion?
For me, fashion is an expression of self,
Yeah.
and it is an extension of a character.
Oh,
How I
yeah.
define who I am. It defines how I feel inside. It
Mm.
defines the mood for me that day. So fashion, it's not necessarily a at that time, but
Yeah.
it is an expression of self. How I dress up, it says a lot about me, about my character, about yes, yes.
When,
That's how
when,
I see fashion. That's how,
when, I'm sorry to cut you. Where does your love for fashion come from? When did you discover your love for fashion?
I just been inspired by people I would see on TV, on magazines,
Mm.
and there were things that when I see or when I see them wearing certain things,
Yeah.
I would start seeing myself wearing those things. I would identify with how they are wearing or
Okay.
how dressed, you know.
Yeah.
So I started following people who dress the way I wish I could dress and started getting such inspiration. So for me, it's the love of looking good, the love of because when you look good, you feel good, you are confident. Even when
Yeah.
you walk on the street, it says a lot about how you feel, you know.
Mm.
So the love of looking good inspired me to follow people who look good or who I perceive as looking good.
And then you love traveling. What is it most that you like about traveling, and what are some of your favorite destinations?
Okay. For me, traveling, it helped me to distress,
Okay.
number one.
Yeah.
When I get out of my usual or comfort zone
Mm.
environment that I'm used to be in
Yeah.
and go somewhere for vacation purposes, I come back a different person. I come back refreshed, I come back energized. And for me, traveling about booking a hotel and sleeping in a hotel and that's it. It's about exploring, experimenting
Okay.
the things of the area that you have visited. You engage with people in the area, you learn about their cultures, you learn about their practices, and you learn about differ with the people of the places that you are coming from.
Yeah.
It's all about uh, doing activities. For example, you can go to Kruger National Park and have a game drive, for example. You
Okay.
know, you don't just go there and see the animals, but you start wondering because when you are doing a game drive, you'll have, so say, for example, you are having a guide, they'll
Yeah.
be explaining to you how these animals behaves and all those kind of things. So those come back informed, number one,
Yeah.
and you come back refreshed.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I love. And Mina, for me, my favorite places are the ones that out of the cities. I love safaris. So I want to go out to those places that do not have the usual things that we have in the cities, not the tall buildings, not the big bathtubs
Yeah,
and beds. Yeah, so I love bush kind of experiences. One of the places that I've been to that are still even today, it's Palala Game Lodge. It's out in Lepalale.
yeah,
If you have an opportunity one day and money to do it, just try it. The experience that I got in that place
yeah.
left me in A because it's been like 4 years, if I'm not mistaken, since I went there. But I still like have that feel thing about my experience there. So traveling is all about experience more than anything. What
Okay.
you are going to experience. So when you sell me a travel package, sell me experience. Don't sell me an experience. What is it that I'm going to experience? The
Oh,
food, the people, the activities. It should form part of the experience.
yeah. Yini xi lexi loko mi famba ku na xona xi lexi mo ka mi nga xi tivi. Lexi wherever you go, that one thing. Yini because vanhu vo tala lava rhandzaka ku famba va tala ku vulavula un'wana na un'wana u na something lexi a xi kheraka kun'wana na kun'wana laha fambaka kona. So i yini lexi mi fambaka na xona wherever loko ho mi kuma mi ri ku fambeni hi nga xi kumaka loko mi kha mi travel.
I will never go anywhere without my cell phone because it helps me capture the moments. It helps me document the experiences. And anyway, I blog about I vlog about my travel experiences. So my cell phone is very important. I'd rather not have the travel bag or the clothes or anything, but have myself. Whatever I would experience, I'll document, I'll record it. So yes, my cell phone is very important when I travel.
Wow. Wow. So go. And then lexi xivutiso lexi ni vutisaka vanhu vo tala xa ku how do you define success in your own way?
Agamina, success about material or money,
Mm,
ne? About setting goals and being able to attain those goals. If you set a goal of saying this year I want to have a driver's license,
yeah.
and you do everything that is possible to get a driver's license. Once you attain your driver's license, you have succeeded. That is success.
Oh,
It's all about setting goals and being able to attain those goals because we cannot define a success amount of money that you have or the amount of cars or houses that you have. Maybe for you that is not what you're looking for.
yeah.
That is not what makes you content at the end of the day.
Mm,
So success for each person is different.
yes. And then
Yes.
failure, does that exist in your world?
As long as I'm trying, it doesn't exist. When you failure, it's let me put it like this. The minute you fail, it means trying.
Yeah.
You have been attempting to
Mm,
do something. So failure for me is when you don't do anything. You
mm,
know you want to do something, but you're sitting and not doing anything. When you quit, you fail. But when you attempt, even when you don't succeed in what you're doing, when you keep on trying, you have not failed. It's so time that as failure.
oh, and then how do you deal with rejection? I think I think this is not the first time I ask you this.
Um, it's hard. It feels bad,
Yeah.
but I a moment later I pick myself up and say, um, I need to try again.
Mm,
If that did not happen, it means it was not meant for me. Let me try again
mm,
because I have tried so many things in life, and just give you for example, I've auditioned for television shows. For example, I've auditioned video shows, and I was not selected. That is rejection.
yes.
But you cannot say rejected, I am not going to try again. It means
Yeah.
you just did not have the attributes that they were looking for in
Mm.
order to fill that particular position. If you are rejected by friends, it means you don't have the attributes that they are looking for in
Yeah.
order to make it to their top friends list, you know. But it should not deter from befriending other people.
Mm.
You just did not meet their needs. Maybe you're clashing. That's why they rejected you. That's why they left you as a friend.
Mm.
But it should not deter you from going forward.
Yes. Mama hi hanya ka misava leyi nga tala negativity from social media to everywhere. How do you stay positive? Because the moment I pick up a phone, wherever xin'wana na xin'wana lexi fambaka xo wela hi mahungu yini loko famba something negative swi tshama swi ri kona. So how do you stay positive?
I ku va focused ka leswi if you have a goal and you know how to attain that, you don't let the next person define to you how you should get to succeed or how you should get to attain that particular goal. For example, you can post a picture today on social media, and maybe that picture was inspired by the fact that I'm well dressed today. I feel good about myself, and then I took a picture on social media. It is possible that you will go get someone who's going to maybe comment on my skirt and say that skirt is ugly.
Yes.
But I shouldn't let that get into me. Normally, say for example, it's that kind of a comment on social media, I'll skip the comment. If you come with negativity on my post, simply skip the comment and not comment and not say anything. Sometimes I won't even delete it, leave it there and continue
Wow.
with others who are ready to interact with me.
Oh.
You know? So you ignore it. You create a barrier,
Okay.
create a wall, and let
Yeah.
it not get into you. Go on with those who are moving with you.
Oh. That's a powerful and
Because I don't believe that every person is right in their own way.
oh.
But I shouldn't let your views define what is right. Because the only thing that is right is something that God had approved. You know,
Oh.
if, for example, God had approved that I may be here today as a radio presenter, you cannot come to me and tell me that I'm not a suitable candidate to be a radio presenter. The fact that God permitted me to be a radio presenter all these
Oh.
years, it means it's right.
Wow, that's
It
so
don't
powerful.
matter, but God, yes, God's views matters.
Ah. Then leswi vulaka ku n'wana na un'wana la nga ta hela a hlangana video leyi leswi va swi vulaka i ku hambi i mani la va ka kusuhani na wehe a vulavulaka swo ka swi nga ri kahle u nga swi pfumeleli swi ku khumba. It doesn't matter
Yes,
whether
yes,
me how close now whoever la nga ta vula swilo so u nga
yes,
swi pfumeleli
yes.
swi ku fikela. That's so
Mm.
powerful. What kind of advice would you give to your younger self? Because Mama Kale, Mirila, and you've been doing amazing things.
I would say trust the process.
Mm.
The reason I'm saying this is many a times we fall, we succumb to peer pressure,
Mm.
not knowing that each one of us their path mapped out perfectly by God. And everything that you encounter on the way, it is meant for you and you alone. So when you attempt to change the script, you are ruining it.
Mm.
You are ruining it.
Wow.
Everything that happens to you, freedom, it is meant for you and it is meant for everything that is coming ahead of you. Everything that you are going to attain in life, you had to go through some way. Because
Mm.
when I sit and look back and reflect on some of the bad occurrences and good occurrences that happened to me. They form a picture puzzle. They complete the perfect picture that you see today. You see, so sometimes you had to lose some people in your life because you were too clingy. You were not able to work independently. Sometimes you could not hear the voice of God because these people were making a lot of noise around you. God had to take them away from you so you can listen. And because you were created for a purpose, there is something that God had put for you to so if you cannot attain that purpose, it means that you have not lived.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Mina, generally, I see myself as someone who was meant to touch lives, to reach out to nations. And God had to use this platform of broadcast for me to reach out to people, for me to be known out there, for me to have people who come to me and say, you know what, Thelma, I'm facing a situation, I don't know how to get out of it. And I often get that from strangers, from people before. They come to me and confide, and I just talk to them, and voila, you find answers to their lives. I tell you this why, because I had wanted to study food technology.
Okay.
My Yeah, in my childhood, I had wanted to study food technology. I went to Vets Technicon, which is now UJ, and they did not accept me. I ended up going to G. It was Technicon Northern Gauteng, which is now Tshwane University of Technology, Soshanguve campus.
Yeah.
I enrolled for a course that I knew nothing about. I studied, I completed and graduated, but I've never worked in that industry.
Oh.
Even today, it's 20, how many years? 22 years later, I
Oh.
have a diploma that I have not used in my life
Oh.
because that wasn't my path. But I don't blame myself or God for putting me through that studying and not using my diploma. The reason God placed me at Technical Northern Gauteng, it was for me encounter with TNGFM.
Okay.
You see, that's where I
Oh.
started my radio career. So I
Wow.
was strategically placed at TNG so I can be on radio because soon after I left varsity and tried to find a job. I couldn't find a job in the field for. But there came an opportunity at MLFM. At first attempt, I got the job.
Ah. Wow.
So I tell you, trust the process. Trust the process.
Oh.
If I may be just be biblical for a moment, freedom. When
Yeah.
the Israelites were freed from Egypt,
Yeah.
the journey that they were supposed to take from Egypt to it was supposed to take them only 11 days if we count it by distance, but they spent years rounding about mountains, turning that because they had to experience something.
Wow.
But it did not mean that they will not finally get to Canaan.
I feel awake. Wow. Oh, that's so powerful.
Process.
Kuna vanhu vo tala lava nga ku who is having tough time. Some vana ti mental health, some are going through depression. What kind of advice leyi mi nga va nyikaka yona kumbe marito lama mi nga va nyikaka mona? Some a va ha believe ku na mundzuku, van'wani va ha ri ha ku tshemba. I marito mahi lama mi nga va nyikaka wona?
Minani, and as long as you are able to wake up, open your eyes, every single day that you find yourself alive, it is a present. It is an opportunity for you to change something. So I know understand that things are very difficult. Like now we are in an economic meltdown, very difficult. People are going through a lot. People are having their houses and their cars repossessed. People are having their children expelled from schools because they cannot pay. People are having a lot of problems going on in their lives. I myself have went through rejection at some point
Mm.
because there were so many things that were not going right in. But I would advise you this: if you see that living a certain standard of life and things have changed now, you cannot afford the type of life that you were living before.
Mm.
The first thing that you need to do is to take stock, start
Mm.
reviewing, check what is it that I can cut in my life that I do without.
Mm.
If it means that you downgrade and move from that apartment in Midrand and move to a room in Tembisa, let
Mm.
it be. Never mind what will people say. But if you have a roof above your head and you have had something to eat, let it be the most important thing in life. And
Oh,
also pray. Pray.
yeah.
But I am telling you, so many depressed today, it's because they are not able to accept the changes that are in their today. Some of you guys have grown in families where your parents were able to give you everything that you wanted when you grew up.
Mm.
And now you are a grown up, you have went to school, you have graduated, you've got your degree, but you're unable to find a job. And
Mm.
you find that very depressing.
Mm.
If it means you have to go back to Kangwa Matatani or Kamatsotso and move out of Joburg
Yeah.
because you cannot afford the life here, let it be.
Mm.
Downgrade. Cut out things that are not necessary.
Oh.
It will help you a lot. It will help you a lot. I'm one person who, at some point, I had to downgrade. I had to lose the properties and investments that I had and started from zero
Mm. Mm.
because the circumstances at that time were not allowing. Oh,
Okay.
so there's always a second chance in life.
Okay.
You can always have a second chance. Just know that the process or the stage that you are in, it's a pruning. I call it a pruning stage. You know, when we studied agriculture in high school, we were
Yeah.
taught about pruning. When trees, say for example, a mango tree,
Okay.
before it blooms, see your parents cutting some branches of the the tree.
Yeah.
Process is called pruning. It
Okay.
seems a bit painful. If you cut a tree, you'd see something coming out of that branch that you cut. It's painful. It's more like blood
Yeah.
coming out of that. But following that process, you find that the tree starts growing branches. If you cut it here, you see branches growing from the sides,
Yeah.
meaning expanding. And the fruits that are coming out after that season of pruning
Yeah.
to be great.
Okay.
So when you experience bad things in your life, just know that it's a pruning season and something that is going to come out of your life following that difficult time. It's going to be great.
Tell us more about your business, Falaza teaching. Tell us more about that and how did it start?
Uh, Personally, I love cooking.
Yeah.
I grew up loving cooking. I used to have my mother buying me magazines like Bo, Dram, Bona, and I'll check whenever she buys me those magazines. I would always go for the food section and
Wow.
check new recipes. And I would ask her to buy me ingredients so I can try these things. So I would bake and I'll cut pieces of papers, those recipes, and put them in a notebook.
Okay.
So that is my favorite pastime. Yeah, making good food, it's something that keeps me going. It
Yeah.
inspires me a lot.
Okay.
So with the advent of social media, I found myself cooking, plating it nicely, taking pictures and posting on social media. So I started having people saying, wow, this is amazing. Did you open a restaurant?
Oh,
And I was like, no, I don't think I am that good and whatnot. But the push was too much.
yeah.
December 2018, I decided to give this a try. I came up with a concept of a pop-up restaurant in my mother's yard.
Okay.
So I thought to myself, it's December, everyone is going home.
Yeah.
How about I make a trial of a restaurant? So
Yes.
I created posters and said to people, you know what? A pop-up restaurant at my place. People can come and have buffet for 150 rand, or you
Yeah.
can buy a plate for 75 rand. You get a free drink with that. And then I prepared myself. I started cooking. People started coming and were taking pictures of my customers as they come and have food. We're taking pictures of food, posting on social media. People went haywire. They were so excited. They were raving about the food. I had
Yeah.
planned to close the operation on the 4th of January 2019. When the date came and I announced that I'm closing, people were like, no, 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 you cannot close. You can't close. And unfortunately, I had to go back to work. I had to
Yeah.
go back to work because it was just a vacation time for that
Mhm.
time. Yeah. So we ended up extending for a few days, but we had to make it close and then we closed. But the push was too much, the pressure was too much.
Yeah.
Have tasted the food, the people who have had that experience, we
Mm.
were offering more like an experience, a dining experience.
Okay.
So we I started looking for a place around Pretoria because I was residing in Pretoria at that time.
Mama,
So I
Mama,
started looking.
I'm sorry to cut you. Can we? You were saying, yeah.
So I started for a place, but I wanted a place that was not too expensive. I
Mm.
was a self starter with no funding. Remember, I had to purchase everything from scratch. So I had some little savings that I had stashed somewhere. I used that money to buy equipment, and I found a place at a shopping center which is made of containers, shipping containers. It's called the Inner Market. So I realized that this place is good enough for a small business like mine, starter like mine. And then I started working on that, putting together everything in for the opening. So by April, everything was ready and set for the business. I started promoting the opening on social media, and come the 1st of May, the place was jam packed.
Uh,
People came to see this historic moment. And yeah, it was the 1st of May 2019, and we're still there, still standing. Experienced a lot of challenges. I've learned a lot of lessons in the process, but we keep on going.
oh, that's great. What's next for Thelma Ngobeni? Because mom, you've been I feel like you've done almost everything. What does the future hold for you?
Honestly speaking, I don't know. I don't know. I life right now.
Yeah.
But I do believe that God will guide me into the next step, into the next level. I would say that a lot of things have changed. The way I think, the way I do things, the way I plan things have changed. I'm more spiritual now than the way I was before. I used to
Mhm.
do things on my own, but these days I first ask God, what or how do we look forward to today? How do we on to tomorrow? So I'm more spiritual. I'm guided by what God says I must do. So right now I would say that I'm still working on the business, looking for other business opportunities that I can explore. And yeah, I believe that something great is going to come.
Okay. Who are you inspired by?
You know what? I know that this may sound a bit cheesy because so many people have role models who are in the public eye.
Mm-hmm.
But I look up to my mom and I'm like, this woman, she is something else. She's not someone who I would say that she has things like that are tangible, but I've learned great lessons from freedom. Um, my mother, she did her matric in 1984,
Yeah.
and at that time she was married. She went back to school, to high school, when she had three kids already.
Oh.
When I was born, back and did her standard six after I was born, and I'm the third child.
Oh.
That on its own, it tells me a lot about never giving up in
Yeah.
life. And
Yeah.
then she went on and completed her matric in 1984. By that time, she had four kids already. And
Mm.
she started teaching, working as an unqualified teacher. She worked until 1987.
Okay.
And she was like, no, this is not on. I cannot continue working as an unqualified teacher. What if one day the government comes back and say we no longer need unqualified teachers, of which it happened?
Nice.
I need to go back to school.
Yeah.
So in 1989, she went back to school when she wanted to improve her matric. But the school that she went to told her that no, mama, syllabus liya mngangena yona in 1984 has. Now we cannot trust you to be good enough for Mibaka grade 12. It's
Okay.
called standard 10 back then.
Yeah.
So let's have you go back to grade 11.
Ah.
We will see how, I am serious. We will see how you perform. And
Yeah.
my mother went back to grade 11. And at that time, I was also in school, like I was at primary school in 1989. Maybe I was doing standard 3. You leave
Wow.
four kids at home. Okay, you go to school. Your four kids are going to school, also going to school. You know, that's a big thing. It's a
Very
big
big.
thing. It says, like, hi, that one, she's my epopod. You know?
Yes.
Yes. So she went to school. She studied grade 11 again for the second time. And then she went to grade 12 and she went to college. She had to leave.
Mm.
I was raised by my paternal grandparents. It's because my mother was busy studying. She was busy to build a life for us and my siblings. So she
Mm.
went to college and studied, and she became a teacher.
Mm.
She became a proper qualified teacher. And she
Wow.
only started working in 1994. She's a retired teacher now. So, you know what? I always, whenever, having spoken about failure, whenever I try something and it doesn't materialize, I look what she achieved. I
Mm.
look back at how she did things. I'm like, no ways. I am not I am not giving up. I
Yeah.
will go back and do it again.
Mm.
So she's my source of inspiration.
Wow. A story so inspiring.
Imagine at the age of 5, we are still going back to school, not varsity, at high school, at 5 and in high school.
Eish.
That's big.
Anti munhu la nga kotaka ku endla sweswo. Anti munhu la nga kotaka ku endla leswi va nga swi endla, and so
Mm,
powerful.
it is. It is. So that taught me that if you want, you go out and get it.
Mm.
You fight for it. no matter what it takes.
If you're not working, like mingar radio, mingari ka business ramin. What are some coming day?
Whenever I get spare time, I try and pamper myself. I do tourism, like I told you, that if it's a 1 day outing,
Yeah.
even if it's just going out to horse riding experience or something like of that nature. Whenever I get a chance, I do that. But I spend most of my time working, and yeah, it's either I'm here at my workplace, or I'm in my business, or I'm in church, or
Yeah.
I'm doing other family responsibilities. But whenever I do take time off and yeah, go out and distress. So I travel. Yeah, I
Okay.
would say that I travel.
Yeah. Any last words that you want to give us with?
What I would say, especially to young people out there,
Yeah.
I would like to tell you this. Um, don't expect anyone to come and rescue you.
Hmm.
You are on your own. So let's do away the spirit of expectation and spirit of entitlement.
Hmm.
Thinking that I have a sister, I have so and so who's going to do this and this for me. No, let's stop it. Start doing things for yourself. Start
Wow.
doing things for yourself. Coming to rescue you. Start selling something. If it means selling sweets, sell magwinya, anything. Sell something. Sell Tupperware. Start selling something. Sell airtime. Sell data. Start selling something. We are moving towards that direction. Because if you are working and you don't have a side hustle, you are doomed.
Oh. Why? Why are you saying that?
Have you seen how prices of things have escalated?
Mm.
We are no longer able to afford the things that we were able to afford a few years ago.
Mm.
And the salaries are not going up as well. So you need to have something on
Yeah.
the side to supplement what you are able to make in order to survive in this world. Otherwise, we'll be speaking about depression and all those kind of things because people cannot afford basic life.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
So, Van Wam Queen, where can people get hold of you?
Nina, the page that social media,
Mm.
aka Twitter, nalega Instagram, at Thelma underscore on radio.
Okay.
At Thelma underscore on radio. Aka Facebook, Imina Thelma Ngobeni. When they want to check out my business, Falaza Lifestyle Kitchen ka Facebook,
Yeah.
bangan ka Instagram, nele ka Twitter as well. Number ya hina 082 3990. Bangai abuse. When you text, please get to the point. Inga cheti. Eleshaba hi, wood. Busy. Busy. We don't have to go back. You send hi and wait for me to say hi. You may stay waiting for me to respond hi. You see. So if you get to a point, hi, is freedom. Mama, I would like us to have a conversation on Zoom. One, two, three.
Yeah.
You explain. When I get
Yes.
to read your message, I'm able to respond quickly.
Mm.
And
Mm.
we avoid wasting time and not getting to give each other what we were looking for because
Mm.
we have gotten to the point. Let's have a discussion, not a, you see. And you can also phone 012 004 142. You can email me my top 30 at gmail.com.
Yeah.
.com.
Mama nikombe mhla number into ingaku kuvi na kuka mingatali kahle ya
082 763 3990 kumbe 012 004 1420. And no matter how big or small, even if it's just 5 people, can just ask us to do the private dinners, the birthday parties, everything. Minkosi, the party michato. We do that. Ningacheka ti picture ta kusaseka ta swakudya swa kusaseka ka ti-page ta hina ta ka n'we Falaza hi ta ti ta mi ndlela swi swa kahle.
Mama, when it is all said and done, how would you like to be remembered?
I would like to be remembered as someone who lived her life to the. I always tell people that even if I were to drop and die now, I know I have impacted someone.
Yes.
I know I have lived my life to the fullest. If I drop and die today, it means that that was the end of my chapter. But I have no regrets whatsoever. I have served people and I have served God to the of my ability.
Yes, and that's true.
I don't owe myself anything. Those things that I had wished to achieve and I haven't achieved, it means it were never in God's purpose.
Wow. Wow.
Because Bibele, many are the plans of a man, but the Lord's purpose prevailed.
Wow. And thank you so much for your time. In one Waban Lava, I grew up looking up to you and I feel honored over Mikare Kwai Mitakankarongwi, me supporter initiative ya me supporter ka whatever that I'm doing, no text Mama Thelma. She'll always come around. And thank you so much. I truly, truly appreciate you. And I'm actually out of words. And
You're most welcome. I wish you all the best in what you are doing. And I wish this channel could grow and become so big such that people would use it as a point of reference when they want to look for inspiration. So I do believe that you are also going. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
thank you so much. Stay blessed.
Amen.